Okay, this morning we're doing our cold start video on our 2004 Land Rover Discovery, nicknamed Marty. And so we're going to get started up here in a minute, and we're going to start the engine, let you hear it, and then we're going to go on a bit of a highway drive and let you see how it performs warming up. A couple things before we start I want to point out. One is we've replaced the factory SAI tubing with this flexible tubing. I do that mostly for ease of service. If I need to get to any wiring at the back of the engine, this is much easier to remove and be able to access those than the factory stainless steel tubing. When the SAA valves open, the pump comes on and it blows air into the tubes, which goes in the exhaust manifold. So it really doesn't affect, so these nylon tubes never see hot exhaust air. It's only cold air, so they live forever. I've done this on several trucks now. The one thing the reason I'm pointing it out is it's a little bit louder on the 15 seconds at startup when you start the engine. So wanted to make note of that before we get the engine started. Other than that, the only other thing to point out, of course, is in our inline thermostat we have a temperature sensor, and you'll see the gauge under hood. But I just wanted to point that out. You know, that's what that is. So let's see here. The engine's at about 67. Of course, it's May in Virginia, and you know, so cold start's a relative term, right? It's not very cold, but you can see the engine's cold. So, okay, so now we'll go ahead and get it started, let you listen to it as it sits here and does the initial run up, and then we will go ahead and take it on a drive. So, initial start, of course, we're going to check all the gauges and show you that all the lights come on for, you know, so there's all the gauge, all the indicator lights, everything works. And go ahead and start her up. Okay, let's go out and look at the engine as it's running. This truck has a heavy-duty clutch fan and fan from a Ford Explorer, so a bit more airflow, but makes a bit of noise also. You come over here, you can hear the SAI pump running, and we can hear it, you know, but basically normal Rover engine sounds. We'll let it go until the SAI pump turns off, and of course the engine will slow down a little bit when that happens. There it goes. Pump just turned off, so now everything's quieting down, and we just got normal belt noise, fan noise, engine noise. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and we'll get in the truck and we'll take it for a drive, and we will you know, go ahead and let you hear it running out through the drive. You can see we're running about 50 psi, no lights on. All right, so let's get going here. Set up my bit later in the video. We will activate all the interior items. So the brake light that was on was the handbrake, and I've released the handbrake. I'll show you the dash in a minute, but all the lights are off at this point, so it's you know, we don't have any fault codes or anything like that going on. Back window is cracked for ventilation. It's been a little bit hot in the middle of the day here in Virginia, so rolled those up. You can hear the sound in the interior areas without those windows rolled down. Okay, I'm gonna wait for this traffic light here, and we're gonna do a 0 to 60 when the light goes red. And so, not sure I'll catch it this cycle. I've got a little bit of traffic to contend with. Yeah, we're gonna wait for one more. Well, actually, he's gonna give us an opportunity. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do a 0 to 60 run. Now this truck has a Crower camshaft in it, so it's a little bit more, it makes a little bit more oomph. Okay, that was 60 miles an hour there. So, I can show you the instrument cluster. So we're going 60, and this is what the truck sounds like. 47 PSI, we're running about 175, 180. I'm going to go ahead and engage the cruise control. Let it take over. And so cruise control has the throttle. My foot is off the gas, as you can see. And she's just running on cruise. So what we're going to do now is some function demonstration of all of the interior controls and features on the 2004 D2, and we're going to start today with the four-wheel low. So put it in neutral, and it's good to let the vehicle roll forward slowly while you shift it into four-wheel low. So now I've got it into four-wheel low, and now what we're going to do is we are going to activate the hill descent control. We have to put it in drive, back in drive, okay? And now I'm going to take my foot off the brake, and you can hear the ABS kicking in and controlling the hill descent control. And now what we're going to do is we're going to shift into diff lock, and the diff lock comes on, and now you've got diff lock on, and so you can see that. Now I'm going to turn the hill descent control off, and it beeps every time you change these things. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back up the hill, and I actually find that it's helpful to, you know, let the to shift into and out of four-wheel low, kind of when you're rolling and a hill helps. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of diff lock. But the diff lock light doesn't go off right away, but you get the beep right away. And so what you need to do is you need to let it roll a little bit. So now I'm going to put it back in neutral, and now we're going to take it out of four-wheel. Now we've got it in high. And now we'll put it back in drive, and it still doesn't release right away. You know, and sometimes you have to back up to get it to drop the light, right? And I might even have to drive it a little bit in drive to get the light to go out, because it's gotta move things in the transfer case for it to come out. So we'll give it a try. Let's see. But it'll come out when you're trying to make it so you guys can see this, you know, and eventually when you get up to speed, it'll pop out and disengage. And that should have been the signal that it's coming out, but it hasn't turned off. And there it goes. Okay. Now, while we're here, I shifted it in reverse, and that time it popped out. So it's just a thing where it needs to disengage. Okay, now today we're going to do some video on interior functions on the truck. So first thing I'll do is talk about the gauge. So this is a dual function gauge. It does oil pressure, which is the center number, and coolant temperature, which is the other one. We're just sitting here idling, so it may go up a little bit. Each green LED is 7 degrees. So you can see we're 177, and so that one would be about 180, and then you get up here, you're about 185, 187. This is about 190-ish, 195. Anyway, it'll turn, and you can see this when you start the truck, and I'll do that in a minute, and it'll do the full sweep, and you can see it. But this truck's got a low temp thermostat, and it hardly ever runs over about 183, and you can see we're ticking up now. Okay, next thing we're going to go to is we're going to go to the radio and just demo the function on that. Okay. So I'm lowering the volume using the steering wheel controls, and what we're going to do is we're going to change the track using the steering wheel controls, and there we are with that. And then we'll change the mode. There's our FM. There's no tape, and we're back to the CD. Okay, we've already showed you the hill descent control. That's fine. Now we'll do the video. We'll do the windows. And there's the front one, rear one. Okay, and then we'll do driver's side. Okay, and now the rear. Yep. Okay, now door locks. So right now we're unlocked everywhere. Let's see, here and there and all the way in the rear. Okay, so now we're gonna lock everything. Locked, 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 and locked, and locked. Okay, now let's see, what else can we show you? Oh, sunroofs. Front sunroof. Rear sunroof. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to. Okay, so we're back over here. We're idling about 22 psi. We already showed cruise control. We showed everything else. I think that's about all we can show with the, we'll turn the lamps on. So with the gauge, so those are your fog lamps. So because this truck has the gauge in it, we will. It does not ship with the ultra gauge. I only do that on trucks where we don't have the mechanical gauge. This is more reliable and sort of, more permanent. Anyway, we'll start the truck. We'll turn the truck off and start it. You can see the full gauge sweep. So let's do that. And so when you turn it on, there's the full sweep. And then it goes to that. So that's all the interior function.